In this video, I'm going to tell you how to attract tech companies actively hiring right now. This is the signal layer behind our hiring demand introductions. So I'm Tushar, I'm the co-founder of Develop and Transform. And the simplest way that I can explain what we do is we operate like referrals, but there's a process behind it. We facilitate controlled introductions between staffing agencies and the companies under real hiring pressure. So you enter as a timely partner, not as another recruiter. This is not cold outreach, this is not mass outreach or anything like that. The system that we run produces a small number of extremely intentional conversations with the exact kind of decision makers that you want to talk to, who have the urgency, budget, and the authority to make that decision. So, all of this starts from actively tracking companies which are under real hiring pressure. So, see, most agencies they track logos. What we do is we track structural tension between the companies, inside the companies. Hiring does not begin with a job post. Most people think that it begins with pressure. Pressure appears when the capital has been deployed. If they are funded, a roadmap is slipping. There might be a deadline. A leader transition occurred, which means a key decision maker might have left the company. A key employee has left. See, public job post is usually the final symptom of all of these pressures that a company is actually feeling. Okay, we monitor what happens before the job post. Plus, we actually combine it with the job post, which makes the signals, which make the tracking extremely powerful. So, see, this will be this difference between selling and arriving at the exact time. By the way, this approach has produced 22 placements for Elite Staffing in 55 days and 39 placements for Crawford Thomas in a quarter. Now, see, what is the step one of this? You need to lock the hiring niche with precision. You cannot track everything. You need something precisely to track on, right? Before monitoring signals, we define exact role category. Example, senior backend engineers for Series A SaaS. Let's say that is the exact role that we want to track for. The funding stage, seed round to Series C round. Then we define the company headcount range, the geography that the company would want the employee to be in. Then the functional decision maker that is going to make the decision of actually approving the hire, making the hire actual. Okay. Without precision, the signals create noise. So see, there are different stages to this. A Series A company which is hiring its first VP of engineering is structurally different from a Series C company scaling a revenue team, right? If you mix them, your signal layer collapses. So you do not have to mix them. You need to do this with precision. What is the step two? We track live job posts but diagnose friction. What do you mean by that? See, most recruiters scrape job boards and email them immediately. What we do is we analyze duration and pattern. We filter for roles which have been open for, let's say, 21 to 30 days. If there are multiple hires for the same function, if the job posts are just for senior or leadership roles only, or they're expansion roles and not evergreen listings. If a role has been live for 40 days, internal sourcing likely failed. That is friction. But see, the thing is, in 2026, ghost jobs and pipeline posts distort the surface layer. You know, in the active job market, 30 to 40% of the jobs that has been posted are ghost jobs. That is scary. But see, how do we cross-check this? Is headcount actually increasing? Is funding recent? Did a leader recently join or did a leader recently left? A job post alone is not a signal. Most people, most lead gen agencies, most recruitment firms, they confuse just the job post with a signal. You need to consider a lot of things. A job post combined with structural pressure, okay, structural pressure is a signal. Step 3, we monitor funding events and capital deployment windows. Capital creates hiring waves, like funding events, right? We monitor Series A raises for engineering build-outs, we Series B for go-to-market expansion, Series C. Funding events create narrow hiring acceleration windows. Research across startup cycles shows hiring typically intensifies within weeks of capital injection. Okay, as soon as you must have seen that. If a company has been funded recently, the most important thing that they have to do is they have to show the investor that they are actually using their money to grow the company. One of the most important ways that they do is they invest in their technology, plus they hire more people. So funding is a great signal for this. So what we do is we combine it with active job posts, right? We have to cross check it with open roles of all of the companies that have been funded, which we are tracking. We identify multi-role hiring clusters if there are companies, if the companies which have been funded, of if there are any companies which have posted multiple roles of multiple posts about the same role. We need to confirm stage aligned hiring pattern. From stages, I mean this. Okay. Funding alone is early. Funding plus structured hiring is active demand. So when we get active demand, that's when we reach out to the company and everything follows from there. Anyways, step 4, track hiring velocity and headcount acceleration. Hiring velocity is a higher fidelity signal than a single job post. We track what was the employee growth rate in the 3 months. We track department specific growth, sudden team expansion, new functional units forming. In venture backed companies, scaling too fast creates internal strain. Now, that strain often precedes external recruitment support. Step 5, we track leadership transitions. New leaders restructure teams. I'm going to give you an example. Let's say a CTO has left a company. Okay, what happens after that is they most probably are going to hire another CTO. If you're tracking which is a company which have a vacant place for CTO, you might be able to help and fill the role. But let's say you're not able to fill that role, no biggie, right? Because as soon as a new CTO arrives in a company, as soon as a new decision maker arrives in a company, they have to tell the entire upper management that the investment that they have done in him or in her is exactly valid. What do? They have to take multiple decisions that is going to move the company forward. And one of the most important decisions that a decision maker makes is hiring. You can sleep on that crack. Okay. See, we monitor new CTOs, new VP of engineering, new CROs, new head of management, new head of product. Sorry. Leadership transitions often trigger team rebuilds, as I said, vendor shifts, new hiring mandates, right? A founder moving from founder led sales to professional sales leader is one of the highest risk inflection points in startups. Now, that transition creates real pressure. So, leadership change plus open roles is a strong timing signal. Okay. So, see, there is no one signal that helps us decide if we have to move forward or not, but we have to combine multiple of signals, right? We have to track employee departures. This is one of the cleanest signals, right? So we identify senior employees departure within last 60 to 90 days. We confirm if replacement role has appeared or not. Check if departure aligns with funding or leadership shifts. Okay. When a senior engineer or revenue leader exits, replacement pressure is immediate. If you are able to do that, great. But again, if they are a decision maker, then the whole shenanigans follow up. Unlike generic outreach, this references a real event. As I said, when we reach out to a company, when we do all of those things, what happens is we have to reach out with context. What made us reach out? It cannot be, hey, I saw you are a good company. Do you want to hire? Okay, that doesn't work like that, right? It doesn't work like that, right? See, a departure is not speculations. You exactly know someone departure, right? It is a structural need. What is the step 7? We score pressure, not volume. Most of the lead gen agencies which you are going to work with, or if you are doing lead gen yourself, what happens is they focus on activity matrices. Okay, activity matrices, 10,000 emails sent, we got 100 replies, 20, 30 meetings booked. But most of those meetings, a lot of them are unqualified. They might be the exact ICP, ideal customer profile, that you want to reach out to. But in cold outreach, there is no way to identify if they have the exact urgency or the budget to make that decision or not. So we use a scoring principle. If it is funded in the last 30 days, plus 3. 3 or more open senior roles, plus 3. Role opens longer than 30 days, plus 2. If the role is open longer than 30 days, +2. New functional leader, +2. Senior departure, +2. There are multiple other things too, but these are one of the few mains. And if we just consider all of this, if the company is scoring 7 or above, we move to active monitoring. This prevents us from chasing noise. You might have observed this if you have, let's say, 30 meetings booked, or you might have seen multiple ads about a few of the other guys of other lead gen agencies. We are going to get you 100 meetings in 30 days. 100 meetings in 30 days, or you don't pay. But the thing is, there is no way to identify if the exact ideal customer profile which you are reaching out to, do they even have the urgency, authority, and the budget to even make that decision or not. There is nowhere to do that. What they are doing is optimizing for activity matrices, such as email sent, replies, meeting booked, etc. etc. Okay, so what is the step 8? We validate real demand before any introductions. Before facilitating a conversation, we have to confirm if the role is not evergreen, because a lot of the company, as I said, there are 30 to 40% of the ghost jobs in the entire job market in any scenario, right? So those are what you call evergreen jobs. Evergreen jobs sort of come in between of the ghost jobs and actual urgent job listings. What happens is, obviously, I think you know this, but the thing is, most companies just post roles so that they can show the investors that, oh, we are posting, that means we are hiring, that means your money is not getting waste, we are actually growing, and things like that. Or they just want to see what's in the market, they're just exploring, right? So we need to confirm if that's the case or that's not the case. Budget is allocated or not, decision maker is identified or not, hiring timeline is active or not. We do not monetize speculations, okay? We monetize verified urgency. There is a structural difference between signal access and general outreach, general cold outreach. So after you have gotten all of this, there are a few things that you can do. You can build a live hiring radar. Okay, so what we have is a live hiring radar, which is our own intellectual property. We operate a continuous monitoring system: weekly funding tracking, daily job pattern monitoring, monthly leadership shift review, ongoing departure tracking, headcount velocity reviews, and multiple other things. But these are the one of the few main things, right? Everything lives inside a structured tracking layer. This is not a static list, it's a pressure identifying dashboard. So what does this change, right? Instead of competing with dozens of recruiters emailing the same CEO, we arrive when capital have just deployed, their roadmap is slipping, there's a deadline they must have to follow, a key leader might have just left, hiring stalled internally, a new executive is restructuring the team or the entire department or anything like that. So the conversations feel contextual. They do not feel cold or opportunistic. They feel aligned. Okay. But see, because of all of these monitoring and filtering of all of the signals that we get, this system produces a small number of extremely intentional conversations with the exact kind of decision makers that you want to talk to, which have the hiring urgency, authority, and the budget to make that decision. So if you want us to monitor your market and give you 5 to 10 contextual introductions with the exact kind of decision makers who have the hiring urgency, authority, and the budget to make that decision, then the link is in the description. Book a call and we'll see if you are a good fit or not. Bye-bye.